guys, Emma again. Welcome back. I've been given a bottle of Anchorlube, which I've been using a bit, and it's good for some things, and it'd be good for a lot more things if it wasn't so jolly messy. I've been thinking about how to fix this, because you can put a bit in a lid or a soup can or whatever and knock it over, and it goes everywhere, and it gets all over the bench and it gets all over your tools. And it really needs to be thinned down a bit for lathe work. And I thought, well, I'll make a tin, and the suggestions on the web about putting cling wrap over the top of your tin when you're not using it. Cling wrap in the workshop's really not the best thing. And I thought, well, I've got this is a vegetable tin, and you buy them in a pack of 4. Australia is Coles, which is a big supermarket chain. A tuna can would work if you eat a lot of tuna. I'm not a big fan of tuna, but there's a million things that would have a little can with no lip on the bottom. Modern cans now are just formed all out of one bit. There's no actual soldered joint on the bottom, and there's a lip on the top. So what I was thinking, if I make a ring out of there, that'll just sit in nicely. Take the sharp edges off there, the sharp corners off, and we drill it and make a swivel. Then we could put that up under our lathe bench. If we have a look here, we've got our drip tray here, and then we've got a bench, and there's a former under here. If I made this so that it swung in under there and swung out, it'd keep the dust out of it, and it'd keep it out of the way, and it'd stop it getting knocked over, and you could just take this out and throw it away when it gets too micky. And it might be a really good thing. So that's what I'm going to do. So found a bit of 3mm plate that I had for a job, and there was an extra piece. If we set this up in the 4-jaw chuck and bore the middle out nicely to fit this tin, and then set it up on the reverse jaws and machine the outside so it's a ring, we'd be well on the way to having this finished. So I might go and do that. So if we have a quick look, I've just marked the centre and centre punched it and set it up with a bar between centres, and set this up here on the outside of the jaws with a straight edge. It doesn't have to be particularly good for this job, I don't think. That's within a couple of thou. That's probably within 1. That's probably going to do. So next job is to centre drill that, and to put a hole big enough to bore it and start taking some metal out. So we've kind of got fed up with the boring bar that I had, and made one up out of a decent big lump of steel with a carbide chip brazed onto it. So that should last fairly well and do a good job. It's cut and nice. And I've bored this out till that's not a bad fit in there. It should just fall through. So now I'm going to take this out and take the burrs off it. Probably I'm going to sand the front of that up a little bit before we do that. So that's what we got. Good start. I'm not going to leave these sharp corners on here because It's going to hurt when you dig your thigh into it when you don't notice it's out. So next job is just to true that up to a circle. What would be nice if you got a mill and a rotary table is just to take 3 corners off and leave the other one to pivot it, but I don't. So, and there's probably ways we could set it up to do it, but I'm just going to make a disc or a circle out of that. That's next. So a while later, I've messed around here for a bit. And got this so that it cleans up all the way around without actually running into the chuck. It's pretty close here, and probably I can mess around and set it up out level with the face of the chuck and get it a little bit smaller, but it doesn't want to be any smaller than it has to be. I might leave that there to cool for a bit while I cook some dinner and have a bit of a think about how we're going to pivot this so that it rotates. So anyway, it's the next day and I'd hoped that today would be a bit cooler, but it's not. Still stinking hot. And with these tins, probably I'm going to need to do what Mum used to do and soak them. And I've got in today and I've made up like a top head section washer and one with a countersink in it. And they're the right distance apart to go over there and be a nice fit. And just a wood screw to screw up under the bench. So I guess better people would give these a coat of paint. Not sure that's really the answer, but it's going to look untidy after a bit, whichever I do, so I'm just going to get the battery drill out and screw that under the bench, and we can start messing around with some Anchorlube. So there we go, all in place. This needs to be really close to the edge here, otherwise you can't get the can in and out. That just slides in under there. It's out of the way. It's not going to get dirty. You can get hold of it and pull it out. You're not going to get all over your clothes. You're not going to spill it all over the bench like I have done a couple of times messing around with this stuff. And I'm going to call this the end of part 1. I've got a couple of tests lined up and just a bit of an idea what the product's like. So anyway guys, thanks for watching, and we're going to continue this with part 2. Have a bit of a look at Anchorlube and what it does and what it's good for. I kind of think it's a pretty good product, really. A couple of tests I wanted to do that no one else has really covered. If you want a good look at it, there's a shout out to Randy Richard in the shop, who did a really in-depth review on Anchorlube and friction coefficients and all that sort of stuff, if you want to get technical about it. I think when it all boils down, it's just another product, but we're going to have a look at it next week. And this is the wrap for this video. Thanks for watching, and more soon guys.